drivers. We'll also see it in slow motion. We'll see it from a couple of angles. Tell us what we're watching. Tell us if there's anything that he does that mere mortals can try to do for themselves.
Well, first of all, let me just explain to the audience that great players swing well from above their waist on their backswing. As his arm swing, notice how his upper torso turns. And on the way down, on the downswing, the lower body moves beautifully. So great players swing well from above their waist on their backswing and move beautifully from beneath their waist on the downswing. And he correlates and synchronizes that. Now, he was looking down the fairway to decide where his ball is going. Notice the width of his stance to support the amount of force that he needs to generate from his upper body and support it with his lower body. And his arm swing is probably the fastest arm swing in the game today. His arms move so fast around and up and down, around and up, that he doesn't have to force his wrists and hands to work that hard because they're the weakest link. And he supports that by a good right knee controlled action on his backswing. His setup is good. Watch and see when he swings back, his head will move slightly to the right and then turn because his club head is moving sideways to start on the line of play. But he correlates the upper and lower body, part of his body beautifully. He synchronizes the swing, turn, and shift, as I see it, as good as any player in the world. He's got a beautiful grip. He's been taught beautifully by Butch Harmon. He winds that arm up in the shoulders, and then he shifts the lower body and lets the upper body respond. Now, here's a good view here. Notice the width of his stance, which supports the amount of lower body drive he needs. Now, when he starts back, he will keep the club on the line of play, and then the head moves slightly to the right, and then it stops and starts turning as the club moves to the side of his body. You can see the beautiful width of the left arm and the extension of the shaft right in line with the line of play. In other words, he's parallel to the line. The elbow is going to start folding as the wrist joints start cocking the club upward and the shoulders keep turning, but he's supporting the right knee. Now look at the height of his hands and look at the beautiful position of the club, which is going to be parallel at the top. To me, is the important position in golf for balance. His upper body is coiled, has got time to shift. The club head is parallel to the line of play. His hands are higher than you might think. He's got all that leveraged and giving this club head time to go up and come down and giving his body time to shift forward and then around. When you combine that vertical leverage and that lateral and rotary force like he is, it's amazing. Now watch his downswing. Watch his right knee get to the ball, and watch his right heel come off the ground and his knee drive forward. Now what happens here is the right arm, see the right arm tucked into his right side? It is now that entire right arm being that flexed and that wrist joint being still cocked is trying to catch up to his right knee and leg and foot. And what is happening here is the right arm is trying to catch up to the right leg, and the right leg is moving fast because the heel is up and the knee is going forward. The left hip is clearing to allow the arms to rotate fast around the body through the hands and wrists. Now watch and see as he passes through this ball how fast his right side turns and then catches up to his left side. This is in slow motion. You can see now that he's striking against the back of his left wrist, which is supporting the blow of the right hand. His head has maintained a steady head position. You got a slight tilt in his shoulders, which he should have at this point in his golf swing. Notice his how high his right heel is off the ground. And watch and see now, because of the force of the golf club moving so fast around his body, that the hips are clearing fast and the right knee is starting to move closer to the left knee very quickly. And now he has great extension with his right arm going through the ball, just like he did the opposite of his left arm going back. So now the left arm is folding to allow the club to rotate around his body. And then you will see, as he finishes swing, how far around the back of his head the speed of the golf club has forced his arms and hands to travel. Look at how far his hands have gone behind his head. He can't stop that. The club is moving too fast. Just remember, he's going 130 miles per hour. Beautiful golf swing. One of the greatest swings in the game of golf.
Now we'll take a look from a different view, and again with a driver. Tell us what we should appreciate here.
Notice he's making practice swings here just to get some rhythm and freedom in his arms. You notice he's not going to swing. He's not swinging that fast in his premeditated practice swing because he's not going to try to drive the ball any distance. He was just looking down the fairway to see where he's going to try to strike the ball. Now watch and see how beautifully he's set up here. Everything is pretty square, and he's got a beautiful grip. The club will start on the line and move around and up. And the swing was so fast there, but notice he got to the parallel position beautifully. And watch and see as he gets to the parallel position and his lower body starts to move, that it forces the angle of the left arm to move slightly inward, and he keeps the club in beautiful plane. He doesn't try to force the club to change directions lower or higher. He just comes down almost on the same plane that he went back on, meaning that he's got great control of his hand and wrist action, and his arms have such great speed supported by the shifting of the lower body. His head is really staying steady to a degree that he doesn't go up and down too much and too far right or too far to the right or left. Here we go again. Club head started straight on the line. The club head now is turned and facing at right angles, right in line with the lead arm. See that? Right in line with the lead arm. Beautiful position. It could be slightly more inside. I would like it a little more inside, but it will get there. Watch and see from here how the arm now goes up as the wrist and hands set the club at the top, coiling the body. The right knee is resisting. The left knee has bent toward the ball. Now watch and see how the right knee drives the left knee forward and clears the left hip. That quick. See it? The right knee driving the left knee forward and clearing the left hip. The lead arm swinging the club inward, forcing the right arm to get in closer to the body, retaining the wrist angle so the club doesn't unload too early. Watch and see the accelerated force now, how the right arm and hand try to catch up to the left. The left bears against the right, keeping the club face square. And from there, the club head just whirls around to the left, up and around his body, completes a full swing through the ball. His head is still focused down toward the ball, and then he looks and follows the flight of the ball. Look at that follow-through. Very few people can swing the club that fast and maintain that good body balance and that good body control. He's, to me, almost a freak.
We're going to take a break, and as we leave, we're going to have our weekly MaxFly Innovative Idea, which was suggested today by our